It is easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. I wonder how Mitt Romney handles the dissonance of that, the internal dissonance of that statement. Hard to say. Gary in Chicago. Hey, Gary, what's on your mind today?
Well, what you just said, pass through an eye of a needle, it's possible for a camel to go through that. That's a literal place, like a cave, but somebody has to pull the camel and the other people have to push the camel. But the whole idea is that their viewpoint is not on society or on anybody else, it's on themselves. And so Romney is somebody who has proven by his actions at Bain and all he has said about going down on social safety nets, Medicare, where, a pregnant teenager can have their baby. That's in Medicare. He wants to abolish that. And, usury, that in the temple of the, money changers and Jesus, kicks over the tables. That's a template for society to follow. So to vote for Jesus is to throw your vote away. It doesn't matter.
Well, no, I'm with you on that, and if a lot of hardcore right-wing fundamentalists like Bill vote for Jesus instead of for Romney, I'm not going to be real upset about that. But I think maybe the larger question, and thank you for your comments, Gary. I think one of the larger questions is, how do we get religious people, Christians, Jews, Muslims, whatever, who share a value system, or for that matter, I was going to say for that matter, atheists who share a value system. Obviously, it's all the same, but I'm guessing probably most atheists are going to be pretty turned off by Mitt Romney's religiosity to begin with, although maybe not. How do we get people to vote their values rather than their party? I mean, it's fairly clear to me that we've got a really substantial values difference here. So anyhow, Aram in Grapevine, Texas. Hey, Aram, what's up? Aram?
Yes.
You're on the air.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
How are you? Yeah.
I'm well. What did you want to say?
I was wanting Middle East. I was just wanting to share a few comments regarding your earlier guest.
Mm-hmm.
Was talking as if people in the Middle East have some kind of a genetic defect that cannot.
Well, that's what I was trying to ask him if he was trying to make some kind of racist argument, or if he was just saying people have to have as a culture a certain period of time or something. I couldn't figure out what his argument was.
I mean, this is a defective argument to begin with.
Yeah.
You have to look at the history of Middle East in the 20th century. All the colonial powers, and then post-World War II, the powers that put in place dictatorships and kept them in power. I'm talking about my own country where I was born in Iran. We have had two revolutions, and both of which turned out to be non-democratic because of the forces from the outside. So how many times people need to, cause a revolution just to be defeated by the forces from the outside?
Yeah, excellent.
And in the U.S. has like 500 years of colonial and cultural exchange. You cannot just look at the United States like 220 years ago when it was formed as a government.
Well, and beyond that, we went through some considerable growing pains. I mean, we had our revolution in 1776, and then we had a civil war. About 80 years later, it's like it wasn't an easy thing to become a democracy, and then we still had legal apartheid after the Civil War, and women weren't allowed to vote, and on and on and on it goes. So. It didn't happen instantly for us. It's not going to happen instantly for anybody. But to say that any group of people should not be allowed an opportunity to try to make democracy work seems to me crazy. Aram, thank you very much for the call. I appreciate your listening. John in Minneapolis. Hey, John, what's on your mind?
Well, I just wanted to comment on Pastor Bill, or whatever his name is. Is it Keller?
Bill Keller, yeah.
Yeah. I really think that people need to understand that, in talking about Israel, that in Palestine, there were 40% of the population was Christian before the inception, before the beginning of the state of Israel. Most of those people left, but there still is quite a few Christians they believe that they are Christians. They go back to the very early church, and yet these evangelical Christians don't recognize them, and they prefer the state of Israel over their own brethren. Yeah. And I think people need to be aware of that. And I just wanted to point that out, and I think that it's terrible that as Christians we're supposed to support the state of Israel without any question and allow them to do whatever they want.
Well, yeah, you're not hearing
anywhere
that
in that region.
I don't think you're hearing that here or anywhere else, John. Nobody is saying what. In fact, you're not hearing that certainly in Israel. That's the big issue, is that there's a vibrant debate about these issues in Israel, just not so much in the United States. Ed in Honolulu. Hey, Ed, what's up?
Yeah, talking about clean slate, what about the United States taking over Hawaii, in 1894?
Yeah, that was, on behalf of Dole Pineapple, wasn't it?
Yeah, and now, they're trying to pass an Akaka bill, and they don't let it pass. Will give the Hawaiian people the indigenous rights. That's so sad.
Right. There was legislation to give Hawaiian people indigenous rights, federal or state?
Yeah. No, federal Akaka bill.
And it got knocked down.
Yeah, it got knocked down plenty times.
Interesting. So the Cherokee can have indigenous rights, or the Mohawk, or any of the tribes that are familiar names to all of us, but Polynesian people, Hawaiian people, original Hawaiian people, they do not have any indigenous rights. There are no essentially tribal lands in any of Hawaii.
There's some kind of Hawaiian homeland, but to be recognized as indigenous people, it's not really. Yeah.
Okay. Ed, thanks a lot for calling from Honolulu. Appreciate the call. 27 minutes past the hour. That's a wrong that should be righted. Among the long list of them.